I want to thank my friend, Representative Marcus Evans, for joining us today, Senator L.G. Sims and Representative Nick Smith. Thank you for hosting us here in your district once again, many times, and you've been very welcoming to me. And I want to thank you also for your advocacy on behalf of your constituents, many of whom are struggling to navigate the challenges that have been brought on by this COVID-19 pandemic. To Senator Castro and to the entire Latino caucus and Black caucus and Progressive caucus, the program that we celebrate today is frankly what it is because of your commitment, Senator Castro, and your leadership to delivering the housing support that the federal government has thus far declined to provide. The economic pain brought on by COVID-19 has impacted every Illinoisan, but no one has carried a burden larger than those least able to weather a financial hardship. Every action that we take to pave our way through this crisis and beyond must be done with a special focus on those who have too often been left out and left behind. For too many people, weathering this crisis begins with keeping a roof over their families' heads. Even before this pandemic, over 70% of extremely low-income families in Illinois were dedicating more than half of their income to rent. And now, nearly 1 in 3 Illinois renters are worried about their ability to pay August rent. That's 1 in 3 of our neighbors who are struggling to maintain one of our most essential human needs, an unacceptable reality for far too many. As I announced in June, Illinois is dedicating $300 million to help approximately 40,000 households through the COVID-19 pandemic. That's $150 million each for rental and mortgage assistance programs. I'm incredibly proud that even in tough financial times for this state, we used our federal resources to build the largest pandemic housing stability program of any state in the nation. Let me say that again. Here in Illinois, we've built the largest pandemic housing stability program of any state in the nation with the federal resources that we were provided. The need here in Illinois and across the nation is tremendous. And we anticipate that there will be so many eligible and interested renters and homeowners that we won't be able to give every deserving family help. But I will work with the champions in the General Assembly as well as in Congress to advocate for more federal assistance to keep people in their homes. Today, we are officially launching the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which will support Illinois tenants unable to pay their rent due to a COVID-19 related loss of income. Approved applicants will receive a one-time grant of $5,000 paid directly to their landlord to cover missed rent payments beginning in March and prepay through December 2020 or until the $5,000 is exhausted, whichever comes first. I want to ask the members of the media that are here today to help spread the word. Renters in need of assistance can go online and apply right now at era.ihda.org, era.ihda.org. We're taking applications until August 21st, although the window could close sooner if there's massive interest, so people should apply as early as possible. Beginning 2 weeks from now on August 24th and running through September 4th, we will be accepting applications for another program, another $150 million program for mortgage assistance, and the same conditions apply to that. The website for mortgage assistance is slightly different. It's ema.ihda.org instead of ERA for rental. EMA for mortgage, ema.ihda.org, and will support approximately 10,000 households with up to $15,000 paid directly to their mortgage servicer to cover balances between March and December of this year. Both programs have a maximum income limit for applicants of 80% of the area median income. Keeping people in their homes isn't just a moral obligation, it's an economic one. Looking just at mortgage assistance alone, the estimated cost saving of keeping 10,000 families from experiencing home foreclosure is nearly $800 million, almost 5 times the cost of the entire program. So we're saving money in the end by offering this assistance. We're in a moment that requires a historic effort to mitigate this virus's devastating effects on the health and livelihoods of the residents of this state, one that centers on rebounding with a stronger, more inclusive economy on the other side. Today, we take another step forward in delivering that for Illinois. With that, I'm proud to turn it over to someone without whom this work wouldn't be possible, and that's Kristen Faust, the Executive Director of the Illinois Housing Development Authority. Kristen.
Thank you, Governor Pritzker. On behalf of everyone at the Illinois Housing Development Authority, I would like to thank Governor Pritzker and the General Assembly for making these programs possible. As the governor mentioned, this is the nation's largest emergency housing relief program launched in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's a significant achievement considering the many pressing demands for these limited resources. We know from the previous housing crisis that keeping people in their homes is essential for our economic recovery. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that right now, nearly 15% of Illinoisans are unemployed. Many have fallen behind on their mortgages and their rent payments and may not be able to catch up without this assistance. So beginning today, as you heard the governor say, August 10th, Illinois renters whose households have experienced a loss of income due to COVID-19 will be able to apply for rent relief through that website, era.ihda.org. This assistance is a grant. It does not need to be repaid. There are income limits, 80% of the area median income. You can figure out whether you qualify by going on the website. And an adult member of your house has to have lost income due to COVID after March 1. You also have to have an unpaid rent balance that began on or after March 1. Renters will complete the application, and then the landlord has to fill out the second part of the application. So if you are behind on your rent and plan to apply, please reach out to your property manager or landlord today to make sure that they too will submit the information that's needed for this grant to be made. The COVID-19 pandemic has impacted every aspect of the housing market. While today's launch is for renters, we will also be launching on Monday, August 24th, a program for eligible homeowners who have fallen behind on their mortgage payments. It's important to note that even households who are in forbearance are encouraged to apply for this program, because remember that forbearance does not mean forgiveness. Your payments are not forgiven or erased. You are still required to pay. And so we encourage that you apply for the EMA assistance, because those paused or suspended payments will be brought current and you can start with a clean slate. The home mortgage program, starting on the 24th, has a slightly higher income, up to 120%. And again, your household income had to have been lost due to COVID, and you must have at least 1 month's mortgage past due or in forbearance. From the beginning, these programs have been developed with a framework of equity and inclusion, ensuring they build upon the governor's efforts to assist families with the greatest need and communities that have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic. Of the $300 million that will be dispersed for direct financial assistance, $100 million has been especially set aside for over 170 disproportionately impacted areas spread across the state. These are communities that have been especially hard hit by the pandemic, that have higher than average rates of COVID. So we're here today in the beautiful Southside hub of NHS, and IDA has partnered with NHS and over 60 other community partners across the state to get the information out across this program, and also to help those applicants who don't have access to a computer or a smartphone It's all completely free, and those those community groups are also on our website. Or you can get the name and number by calling 888-252-1119. The COVID pandemic has an impact on every Illinoisan from Rockford to Cairo. Governor Pritzker has been undaunting in his efforts to provide guidance and aid to the people of Illinois who are struggling. It's an honor to be given the opportunity to steer IDA's rental assistance program to provide comfort and a solution to renters and landlords impacted by this terrible crisis. Next, I would like to introduce State Senator Christina Castro, who represents the 22nd District, which includes all or parts of Elgin, Carpentersville, Hanover Park, and other communities within Cook and King counties. Senator Castro is a second-generation Mexican-American who is committed to her community and to public service. Senator Castro knows firsthand about the importance of creating and maintaining affordable housing because prior to her election from 2013 to 2016, Senator Castro served as a member of the Board of Development Authority. It was during this time that Illinois was still recovering from the Great Recession, and we were administering the hardest hit fund to assist Illinois homeowners. Senator Castro has seen the impact IDA has on communities and neighborhoods throughout Illinois. We're thankful for her efforts and the Illinois General Assembly for entrusting IDA with the funding to launch these emergency housing assistance programs. It is my pleasure to welcome Senator Castro.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Governor. Governor, thank you for your leadership during this pandemic and for hearing my colleagues in the Latino caucus, colleagues in the Black caucus, and Progressive caucus as when we expressed the need for rental mortgage assistance in Illinois. We fought very hard to secure rental mortgage assistance in light of COVID-19 pandemic, specifically among communities of color and low-income communities that have been disproportionately impacted by the virus. The rental assistance program will help people breathe a little easier by lifting some of the financial burden this crisis has placed on them. However, it is important to point out that there's still a lot of work to be done. Many will see relief from this, but not everyone. There are limited resources that need to be distributed to a lot of families across the state. And at this point in time, Illinois just does not have the capacity to fulfill everyone's needs. We still need help from the federal government. And so today, I'm urging the federal government to pass an aid package that will send more funds to Illinois so that we are able to lift up the people who are struggling the most. The economic impact of the pandemic is real, and it is suffocating working-class families in this state. We have done all that we can to help, but we are too feeling the pressure and have exhausted our available resources. It is up to the federal government to do what is right and help support the people in our state who are trying their hardest to just get by during these trying times. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. And while you're at it, please leave us a comment. Thank you for watching.